On today's primetime local news, the Service Sports Center rooftop renos will cost the city more than $500,000 to repair. And teachers at Bishop Lloyd shave off their mustache after a long Movember fundraiser.
For students to bid, the highest bidder will get to shave the face of the male staff member of their choice.
Plus, a new position for Chief Jordan Newton, now overseeing the emergency management operations in the border city.
Hey, I'm Eric Bay, and this week we've definitely gotten a taste of that winter weather. So if you are looking to go somewhere warm over the winter, you're definitely going to want to check this out, as we're checking out travel, vaccines, and everything you do need to know before you do go out on vacation. And we're going to have more from back here tonight throughout the show.
Prime time local news, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
One of the most expensive items on Lloydminster 2020 capital budget is repairs needed for the roof of the Service Sports Center. The project is slated to cost $575,000. The city hopes to obtain funds through the warranty on the building, but still budgeted the repair in case the situation worsens.
Or the roof deteriorates to a point that we have no choice, that we've got to do the work. We need the money set aside. So that's why it's being budgeted today. And it will come back before council, I guarantee you that.
And that way there are other options to use the funding if it isn't needed for the repair.
If the roof at the Service Sports Center is able to obtain warranty, and we'll be exploring that to the fullest extent, then that money would be left to reserve.
There's no start date currently set for the project. City Council also officially approved the Fire Master Plan this week. This means a fourth paid on-call firefighter will be budgeted to start working January 1st. There were more than 30 other recommendations from the plan, including developing a standard operation procedure and a pilot project for child fire safety.
The document sets some pretty big goals, and I think they're reasonable, but in the same token, they're not all going to happen immediately, as that was discussed at council. This is a 10-year plan, lays out some framework.
As the department continues to develop, the plan allows for changes in priorities.
There could be some adjustments, and we expect that to happen. But from the perspective, it gives us a good guiding framework to move forward with the fire service.
The plan is available on the city website. After 10 years with Lloydminster Fire Services and 5 years as chief, Jordan Newton is hanging up his fire hat and stepping into a different role within the city. Abby St. John has more.
Effective December 16th, Fire Chief Jordan Newton will assume his new position as the Manager of Emergency Management Operations, which will be a different role than he's used to.
What I'll be doing now is building plans and building resilience into the community if there ever was a large-scale disaster, as well as preparing the city and our organization for responding to large-scale emergencies.
With the position being vacant since the summer months, Newton decided to jump at the opportunity and take the job over.
It has always been an interest of mine, and it's a growing industry. It is still very, very new. I think with my skill sets that I've learned over the years, I'll be able to apply a lot of that and then improve our system here and become a leader in the industry.
When the new job starts, Newton has some goals he would like to accomplish within the city.
What I want to do is start to work with a lot of our external stakeholders and work with our residents, as well as work with business owners on how to develop their own emergency preparedness plans to develop higher resiliency within the community, and working with business continuity and within the city of Lloydminster to make us more resilient to any type of large-scale emergency.
Although Newton is excited to start his new job, there's a bit of emotion when leaving a job he's done for a decade.
The fire department's been such a huge part of my life for so many years, spending the last decade on the fire department and serving the residents of this community and working our hardest to keep everyone safe, as well as the last 5 years as fire chief, being able to guide this fire department over some large transformation and improving our fire protection model for the community and making sure that we keep all the residents safe.
A new fire chief will likely be named in the new year. Abby St. John, Primetime Local News.
As the month of November is reaching its end, that means that Movember is also coming to a close. Earlier today, teachers at Bishop Lloyd School shaved off their facial hair, and as our Jasmine King shows us, they did it in a quite unique way.
Throughout the week, students have been participating in certain events to raise money for Movember, but for this event, they decided to take it to the next level.
Today, male staff members have been growing their beards. We shaved clean on November 1st, and we've been growing for the month. And so they are going to lead an auction for students to bid. The highest bidder will get to shave the face of the male staff member of their choice.
The students were also raising money earlier on in the week with a few other activities.
We have done Stash for Cash, which is the boys can draw mustaches on the girls for $2, and Nails for Males, where you do the males' nails with nail polish.
It's really important to spread awareness about prostate cancer, and we're wanting to raise money for it.
Teachers at Bishop Lloyd let the students take more charge in the events in the hopes of rallying the other students behind the cause.
Anytime that I can get students to take the lead, there's more buy-in from the student population. It also is more of a sense of pride for them of accomplishing something, and I think it's really important that students experience that generosity where they can do something to give back to other people, because lots of people think that teenagers don't have that, so it's really good for them to have the opportunity to give back to the community.
For Highland, this cause means a lot to him, and he really enjoys seeing the whole school and community being involved in it.
I think prostate cancer in general hits all kinds of families all over our community, and prostate cancer is really important because it's a huge impact on men, but it's also a huge impact that is curable. And so there's a lot of spreading awareness is important, but also just getting students involved in something like cancer seems something that's so, what are we going to do? There's nothing you could do, and they can do something, so that's awesome.
One of the students bid around $40 to shave off one of the teachers' facial hair, and the school had a goal of $200. Jasmine King, Primetime Local News.
Now we head out to Eric Bay, who's on location.
Back here today at the Lloydminster Co-op, and we are talking about travel vaccines, and obviously with that weather starting to get a little colder, you may be thinking of taking a warmer trip, and I'm joined now by Michelle Teasdale, and you guys here at Co-op are actually specialized in being able to give these vaccines, so can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. Myself and Natasha Cron, another pharmacist here, both received our certification in travel health back in October of last year, I guess. So it's something that we're just newly offering. It is something that is really important when you're traveling. What we do is we provide a lot of written information. We can provide the travel vaccinations, like you say, but we can also provide other medications and other things that you may need when you're traveling.
And so what is the importance of, I guess, making sure that you have all that information before you do, say, go somewhere warmer, somewhere to a different climate?
Yeah, so it is really important to see someone ahead of time. We usually recommend about 6 weeks before your travel that you do come in and see us. And so what we're going to do is just assess your risk factors for the destination that you're going. We assess your medical conditions in case there is something specific that you might need to know. And then just provide you with a lot of information about that destination. Like I said, including giving any vaccinations that are needed, but also just giving a lot of information on risk and travel or destination-specific information.
All right, thank you for this, and we're going to have some more from back here again, continuing with travel vaccinations, everything you do need to know. But before that, we're going to head back into the studio.
It is -11 here in Lloydminster, fairly cloudy skies. It was clear this afternoon, so it did turn out to be a fairly nice day. There is a chance that it could snow overnight and clear up by early afternoon tomorrow, so definitely be cautious about that. 8-kilometer-per-hour winds coming from the east-southeast, making it feel like closer to a -16 with the wind chill. Now taking a look at current temperatures across the region, -9 in Cold Lake, -12 in Red Deer, -10 in Edmonton, Edson, Athabasca, and Whitecourt, -15 in Edson, Rocky Mountain House, and -16 in Jasper. And on the Saskatchewan side, -11 in Meadow Lake, -8 in Prince Albert, -7 in Saskatoon, -12 in Melfort, and -9 in North Battleford. And overnight, North Battleford will experience some snow overnight, with the temperature dropping to -12, with that wind staying steady at 9 kilometers per hour coming in from the east, which will remain at 9 tomorrow coming in from the east-southeast, with a daytime high of -7 and a fairly cloudy day. In Cold Lake, it should clear off a little bit more overnight, with the temperature dropping to -13, and the wind will be at 7 kilometers per hour coming in from the south-southeast, which will pick up to 11 kilometers per hour coming in from the south-southeast tomorrow, with a daytime high of -8 and a mix of sun and cloud. Here in Lloydminster overnight, there is about a 30 to 60% chance of snow overnight and into tomorrow, with the temperature staying at -11, and the wind will be at 9 kilometers per hour coming in from the southeast, which will pick up to 11 kilometers per hour tomorrow coming in from the south-southeast, with a daytime high of -8, with a mostly sunny day with just a little bit of cloud throughout, with a low of -11. And then on Sunday, it should be a fairly sunny day with just a little bit of cloud coverage in the morning, with a high of -6 and a low of -13. And then to start your week off on Monday, it will be a mix of sun and cloud with a high of -1 and a low of -12. That wraps up your 3-day forecast. We'll have more news coming up after the break.
Welcome back. Quebec's largest agri-food company, La Coop Fédérie, says the Competition Bureau of Canada has given the green light to its acquisition of the pork and milling assets of F. Menard. The deal would add a company that processes more than 1.1 million hogs annually, that represents more than 15% of Quebec's pork production. The transaction, whose purchase price hasn't been disclosed, is expected to close January 6th. The deal included hog farms, pork processing and further processing plants, 2 specialized butcher shops, and a transport fleet, as well as 2 mills. F. Menard employs more than 1,200 people. The agreement continues a trend of consolidation in Canada's pork sector, the 7th largest in the world and the 3rd largest exporter. Speakers from Canada and the U.S. are to give practical training at an event aimed at helping farmers build resilience in a changing climate. More than 30 speakers are expected at the 6th annual Ecological Farmers of Ontario conference in Belleville that begins on Monday. Organizers say climate change presents a lot of challenges to productivity and profitability. That includes dealing with droughts, heat, heavy rainfall, and increased stress and anxiety as farm families cope. Some of the questions that will be discussed are: what is it going to be like to farm in 10 years? Is extreme weather getting worse? And how is it going to affect businesses? And now here are your agriculture prices for today.
We're a part of less than 5% of Canadian auto body shops and Lloydminster's only locations with certified collision care recognition at City Centre Auto Body.
The Bobcats hit the road today, heading up north to Fort Mac for a weekend series. After last weekend, where the Bobcats split the weekend with Grand Prairie, the boys are looking to build off the momentum. The momentum has been building all month, and the Cats will want to end it off on a high note. The Bobcats have won over a third of their games in November, far more than other months.
Well, it's a big week for us, especially when you go into the week with the win that we had on Saturday night, and then a full 4 days of practice. We can cover a lot of things here, and we look to be sharp and fresh going into Fort Mac.
The Oil Barons have made lots of trades recently, including dishing away their former captain and acquiring Braden Berthold from Lloydminster Wednesday. Dubé says the Cats are taking all measures to make sure they're good for these games.
So we'll change it up a little bit tomorrow that we can get in, check into the hotel, and kind of freshen up a little bit before going to the rink.
Games will take place tonight and tomorrow at 7:30. After accusations of racist comments a decade ago, Bill Peters has stepped down as the coach of the Calgary Flames. The team's general manager says he hopes the team can now move forward.
This morning I received a letter of resignation from Bill Peters, which I accepted. Effective immediately, Bill Peters is no longer a member of the Calgary Flames organization. It's been a difficult time, but we are going to move forward. It's going to be a learning lesson for everyone, and hopefully this is, as difficult as these days have been, hopefully this is something that can be positive moving forward.
The NHL has issued a statement saying it isn't finished investigating. It reads, "The league has been in regular communication with the Calgary Flames management, and our review of this serious matter is ongoing. There are meetings scheduled with relevant individuals, including Akeem Aliyu, in the coming days. We'll have no further comments at this time." And now to our Abby St. John, who's got the weather.
Thanks, Evan. Well, taking a look at our satellite radar, I mentioned earlier that there's about a 60% chance of some flurries this evening, and then about a 30% chance that it'll carry over into tomorrow, which should clear up by the afternoon. As you can see, there's snowfall heading over in the Vegreville and Marwayne area, and some spots out in Edmonton as well. And then, as always, Maidstone and North Battleford are seeing some snow action, and then cloud coverage as well across the region. Current temperatures, it is still -11 here in Lloydminster, as well as in St. Walburg and Green Lake, -9 in Macklin and North Battleford, Meadow Lake and Isla Cross, -10 in Pearson, -11 in Green Lake and St. Walburg, and -12 in Maidstone. And on the Alberta side, -12 in Marwayne, -10 in Provost, Wainwright, Vegreville and Edmonton, -9 in Vermilion and St. Paul, -11 in Bonnyville, -9 in Cold Lake and in Lac La Biche. And tomorrow, -8 for the daytime high here in Lloydminster, as well as in Marwayne, Cold Lake, Lac La Biche, Bonnyville, St. Paul, Vegreville, and Wainwright, -7 in Vermilion and Provost, and -9 out in Edmonton. And on the Saskatchewan side, -8 in Macklin, Maidstone, St. Walburg, and Isla Cross, -7 in North Battleford, Meadow Lake, Pearson, and out in Green Lake. Overnight across the region, Meadow Lake will experience some snow overnight, and then Mirnam, Isla Cross, and Pearson are sitting fairly clear overnight, and then heavier cloud coverage in Provost, Paradise Hill, Unity, and in Wainwright, and temperatures are ranging between -13 and -11. And then across Canada, your national forecast, one out in Vancouver where they have a mix of sun and cloud, -10 in Edmonton where they're experiencing some snowfall, -10 up in Yellowknife where they're having a fairly clear night, -3 in Winnipeg, -5 in Regina, -2 in Toronto with a little bit of cloud coverage, -10 in Quebec City, 3 in St. John's where they're experiencing some rainfall, and then -4 in Halifax where it's a pretty cloudy evening. And then over the next 7 days, tomorrow it will be a mix of sun and cloud throughout the day with a high of -8 and a low of -11. And then on Sunday we get a little bit more sun with a high of -6 and a low of -13. To start your week off on Monday, it will be a high of -1 and a low of -12 with a mix of sun and cloud. On Tuesday, we'll have a little bit more sun than on Monday with a high of +2 and a low of -3. On Wednesday, a little bit more cloud coverage with a high of -3 and a low of -7. On Thursday, it'll be fairly cold with a high of -12 and a low of -16, but it should be fairly sunny. And then to finish off your week on Friday, it'll be a mix of sun and cloud with a high of -5 and a low of -17. So we get a little bit of sun over the next week, which is good, but that wraps up your 7-day forecast. We'll have more news in the question of the day coming up after the break.
back here today at the Lloydminster Co-op, and we have been talking about travel vaccines, everything you do need to know if you are looking to go somewhere here this winter. And I'm joined once again by Michelle Teasdale, and now we talked a little bit about, there's many different destinations where people are looking to go, but is there anything that people should be aware of before certain destinations?
Yeah, so we recommend that no matter where you're going, that you do come and visit us, because even places like Mexico, which seem fairly safe, there are some issues and things that we like to talk about. So just to give you some information on safety concerns and risks that might be there, and then certain vaccinations that are required even for Mexico. So I think if you're going anywhere, it's a good idea to come in and have a chat with us, sit down and just review things before you go.
And then piggybacking off of that for destinations, is there any, I guess, age groups, as we mentioned too before with like the flu vaccine as well, that should be considering this more before they do go on certain trips?
I think all ages, this is really important because there are lots of diseases and things out there affecting people of all ages. One thing though, because we can only vaccinate children 5 years and up, if you do have children that are less than 5 years, we can provide information, but we wouldn't be able to do those vaccinations here. So in that case, a person may have to contact public health.
And now, obviously, you guys do the vaccinations here, but you guys also offer some products as well to keep people a little bit safer if they are going abroad. So can you touch on that?
Yeah, for sure. So along with our travel health service, we do have some products here, a couple different options for bug spray. We do have mosquito netting. We have water purification methods, so lots of things that you might need if you are traveling to farther away destinations, I guess. Yeah.
And then very quick here before we wrap up, if people do want some more information, whether that be about those products or the vaccines in general, how can they find that from here?
Yeah, so anybody that's interested in sitting down with us, we do just have you give us a phone call or pop in anytime. It's something that we can schedule fairly quickly. We just need a little bit of information ahead of time that we schedule the appointments and we can sit down in a fairly timely manner.
All right, thank you for this, and we are going to have some more from back here again, continuing with travel vaccinations and everything you need to keep yourself safe if you are looking to go on vacation this winter. But before that, we're going to head back into the studio.
Of course, it's that time again for question of the day. Well, Gabrielle Union was let go from America's Got Talent alongside Julianne Hough for speaking out against toxic work culture. And the question we threw out there was, if you were in that position, would you speak up? And I have to say, I would, but I didn't at one point, right? Yeah. So, and Gabrielle Union, I remember interviewing her once for one of the movies that she had done, and we talked a little bit outside of that about having, because I had a big afro at the time, and we talked about how comfortable I am at work. And I remember I was told not to wear it in an afro, make it straight. Yeah. And that was one of the things I never really talked about. But when she said it, it made sense. You have to speak out, but then there's problems that come with that as well too, right? So
exactly. Yeah. And what really sparked all of this on AGT was when Jay Leno was a guest judge. He had made some crude, almost racist comments towards the Korean culture, and she wanted AGT to report it to NBC, and they said no, and she was let go. Of course, there were other things leading up to that she had, noticed and had been complaining about, which is fair. But that was what really set it off, and NBC refused to report it, or AGT refused to report it to NBC, and so she was let go. Yeah. The clip of Jay Leno making those rude comments never made it to air, but she wanted them to. Yeah. She wanted people to see that.
And they need to see that. And I think for her, the hair, she was told that her hairstyle was too black, quote unquote, right? And so I think there's a lot of other issues probably going on behind the scenes and stuff like that with, Simon smoking, and she outed him and all that kind of stuff. But I think it's important to say something, and it's hard. Like you have to be very careful on what you're talking about as well too, and make sure that it's happening.
And even Julianne Hough, when she was on Dancing with the Stars, she was told multiple times, change your makeup, change your hair, change what you wear, change this, this, and this, and this, and this. So it's all over the place. And people speaking up, like all our commenters said, speak up.
She's
do
brave.
The right thing, no matter what it is, always speak up if it's hurting you.
I agree. She's brave. I like it. And we're going to hit to some pets that you guys have sent us, some brave pets, They're going to be entered to win a gift card from the Pet Pad. Here's a look at some of them that are going to be entered for a gift pad for later on. I think we're going to announce it later at the end of the show.
We want to see your pets. Send photos of your pet and their name to our Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram to have them featured on Pet of the Day. Your name will be entered into a weekly draw for a gift certificate from the Pet Pad.
Well, every year, Diversity Magazine puts on an award to celebrate leaders within the community, and our very own Lloydminster's resident, Susan Cambridge, had won an award. Thanks for coming by and talking about this award.
Thank you so much, Rudy, for having me. It's always a pleasure to come and chat with you.
We love it, and obviously a great opportunity to talk about this because this is a really cool award. It's called the Unsung Heroes Award.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about that. Obviously, you were at the event. Tell us a little bit about this whole thing.
So I was at the event last weekend, and this award with a combination of the African Community and Diversity Magazine. And I had made some connections and so on when I was doing Lloydfest. And so, you know, we connected and we decided to share visions of working together in the future. And so I got an email to my surprise. I was nominated for one of the nominees for Unsung Heroes and went to the event, you know, being courteous, not expecting to win, of course.
Of course,
and so therein, I won the award. But what is interesting about all of this, Judy, is that when I reviewed some of the bios of the nominees, there are a lot of people in the African community doing tremendous work in their community to support newcomers and even those who have been there sometimes. So I was truly amazed and truly inspired by what I've seen.
Of course, and a lot of people go to this event every year. I know about it. AC owns it, right?
African Community
puts it on, and then Diversity Magazine has this event.
Yes.
I really enjoyed watching the different people. I saw pictures that Franklin, who puts it on all the time, sent us, and there's a lot of different people. Chemo as well too.
Yes,
won
Chemo
an award.
Mansouri,
Right?
He won Leadership of the Year award, and Chemo is also very much instrumental in community work here through the LIP organization, Lloydminster Immigration Partnership, and so he won an award as well.
It's such an important thing to recognize people in the communities that are doing that type of stuff. And you've been working with Lloydfest, so I mean, such an amazing award for you because you had struggled through trying to get this event going, and I'd been there and I saw not the struggles, I seen the end results obviously, and it was such an amazing event. Lots of different communities, lots of different cultures, and I think you outdid yourself in terms of getting everybody together. So really a great award, the Unsung Hero for you.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, and so what does that mean for you?
Well, what that means for me is that that gesture of appreciation really fueled my passion. You know what I mean? It encouraged me to continue doing what I'm doing for the benefit of the community that I live in, Lloydminster, as well as it also sends signals to me that I can continue to encourage other people to say, hey, there is recognition, there is appreciation, and it gives you that sense of purpose. So I go out in the community now and I say, hey, please, volunteer, be part of the community and get involved. It's really, really worth it.
It is so worth it. And I think the more and more people come to Lloyd, a lot of different communities are living here now, very diverse communities within the community, within the city. And I love the fact that you continue to push through and you continue to build bridges and stuff like that here in the city.
Absolutely.
What is next for you? You've got this award. Lloydfest has happened. What's next for you?
You really want me to
I really want to know. Come on now. You can't be holding that kind of stuff back.
What is next for me is that part of the mandate of the society, the nonprofit that Lloydfest comes under, is that we would like to have our own awards for members of the community within the diverse cultures. I would like to pattern from the AC community and work together with Chemo and I spoke about it, work together with the city and I guess LIP, and let's have a community awards ceremony for the special people here or right here in Lloydminster.
I love that you say that because I think when I was talking to Franklin, who does the diversity one, was saying he's thinking about bringing that here. It would be something different, or you guys can do it together, whatever the case. It would be fun. It would be nice to have.
And this is what we have business awards, we have other awards, right? So let's bring out some of our unsung heroes and members within the diverse culture. You see, because AC has one community, but what we would like to do is identify nominees from all the different communities. So that should make it quite interesting.
More more interesting is the outfits that everybody's going to wear from every culture. I love
yes,
that.
yes.
Great idea, and I can't wait till next year. And
Absolutely.
I look forward to all the stuff that you're doing.
Yes.
Congratulations again.
Thank you so much.
Such a well-deserved award.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
Susan,
you.
for being here.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Hey, it's Justin Marshall from Hot 101.3 and Boom 95.3. And here's what's happening around the Lakeland. Well, we're at the gift shop today in Bonnyville, Alberta, in the hospital, and they're having gift shop open houses for the Christmas season tomorrow, Friday, and Saturday. The Bonnyville Ladies Hospital Auxiliary putting this on, catching up with Olive Martin, who's part of it. We got the times on the screen. Olive, what are some of the things that the people can get if they come down to the gift shop?
Oh, there's quilting, lots of quilts, table runners. This is a donation from our Quilting Guild here in Bonnyville. We also will have a next to new table where people have donated Christmas articles that they no longer need, and they will be for sale. We have new baby blankets and bibs and all those kinds of things.
We got the poster at facebook.com/boom953. Olive, why do you keep doing this?
Well, to raise money to buy supplies for the hospital. Our aim is to provide customer service and make sure that patients are comfortable. And this year we are buying a birthing bed and worth $15,000, and then we've bought new lights for babies with jaundice and new cribs and all that for them.
Fantastic stuff. Olive, thank you so much for everything you do in the community and for joining us.
Thank you very much for advertising us.
And if you have an event you would like to feature on What's Happening, shoot me an email, jmarshall@stingray.com.
In studio with myself today is Vince Oreo with the Holy Rosary Raiders Athletics, and as well the principal at the high school there. Vince, thanks for joining me today.
Yeah, it's nice to be here, Evan. Thanks.
So Vince, we'll just start it off. The success you guys have had with the Raiders this season, a couple teams making it to provincials and successful in playoffs. What has that been like for you behind the scenes, I guess?
That's awesome. It's a great sense of pride. We start back even with our cross country. We sent a bunch of athletes across country provincials, golf provincials, and then getting into the volleyball and football seasons, and a couple of teams taking those right to the very end of the season. It's amazing.
So what do you attribute that to? Is that, just the program's been building up to this point for however many years, or just the athletes took that extra step, the coaches? What do you think that is?
It's a combination. I mean, whenever you get a bunch of student athletes that buy into a program and they stick with it from the 8th grade all the way through the 12th grade, and they have some consistency in their coaching, and they do some off-season training, it all compiles into success.
For sure. And a couple things that I've seen is, you guys have good feeder programs, whether it's the Red Dogs, which you are also a coach for, feeding into your football teams, or whether it's those off-season volleyball teams, just that extra work getting put in. And then other places where you guys can put in extra work is the Synergy Vault. You guys have had that, been using it for 3 years now. Just tell me about how beneficial that's been.
Yeah, Synergy Vault's been amazing for us. Especially for the football program. You get later into the fall where the weather's not very nice and you can be inside, not worrying about the elements. Kids can focus on learning, coaches can focus on teaching, and I think that helps us get to the next level. Our baseball and softball programs, are strong, and they feed. It's kind of the opposite. They feed back into the community where they can make the local softball and baseball team stronger because we have those programs to enhance a kid's ability.
For sure, and there's that U15 baseball team this past summer that hosted Western, so we can just see, how much they're improving in their own leagues because of this.
Yeah, they're in there, whether it's in a class or whether the baseball association and softball associations use the vault in the evenings throughout the winter for their training programs. They have to see benefit from that. The kids are swinging a bat, throwing a ball, and being together as a team. They can have their tryouts in the fall now instead of in the spring, and work together as a team for 8 months prior to their season. Huge benefit.
Now, Vince, basketball season's starting up here. And I know from talking to you guys in the past, you don't start your basketball season in real basketball tryouts until you have your volleyball done and your football done. Just take me through why that is.
Yeah, well, we want the kids to be able to focus on the season that they're currently in. We don't want to risk injuries with kids doing 2 sports. And there's fatigue, and of course they still have to focus on school. So if they're doing 2 practices a day, it mentally and physically it's draining. So we want them to focus on the season at hand, focus on their schoolwork, and then look at the next season. So I feel a little bit bad for the basketball coaches because their volleyball and football teams have had some success over the past few years, and we take it right to the end of November. But they're good coaches, they've got good kids, and they're ready to go. We've got 8 teams participating in basketball tournaments this weekend already, so it's great.
And now, Vince, how many of those, on those teams, how many kids are going to be multi-sport athletes that we might have seen through the volleyball teams or through the football teams? How many?
Yeah, it's going to be about 70% of those teams. Even at the junior high, kids were playing volleyball at the junior high or playing minor football. And, they have a short rest, 2 weeks for the Bantam football kids getting into basketball. And for high school football players, they had Sunday off and they were on the basketball court Monday for tryouts. And then the boys volleyball kids, they had a couple weeks off, but now they're back into it. Girls volleyball had a day, and they were into it. So probably 60% of the kids haven't really had much of a break other than Sunday, maybe to decompress a bit.
And then how beneficial is that for your guys' athletics program, just having those multi-sport athletes and being very versatile?
Yeah, it's great, and then it translates into their badminton players too, and their track and field athletes, and those same kids are leaders in their school. That's the biggest benefit, is those kids buy in to being a student athlete, and they're leaders in our school. They're involved in athletics, but they're also high academics, and we see them in our student leadership as well.
Well, Vince, thanks a lot for joining me here. I personally am looking forward to watching all those athletes, partake in basketball or whatever may be their future. So this was Vince Oriole with Holy Rosary Raiders. Thanks, Vince.
Thank you.